Journey back with us across the sands of time to a civilization that has captivated the world for millennia. This is the story of ancient Egypt, a land of gods and pharaohs, of pyramids and papyrus, a kingdom forged along the life-giving banks of the mighty Nile River. For over 3,000 years, this remarkable culture flourished, leaving behind a legacy etched in stone and gold, a testament to their ingenuity, their beliefs, and their unparalleled vision. Our story begins not with kings, but with the river itself. The Nile, with its predictable annual flood, was the heartbeat of Egypt. Each year, it would swell, depositing a rich, dark layer of silt upon the arid land. This fertile black soil, known as Kemet, gave the country its ancient name and made agriculture possible in the midst of the vast desert. Farmers cultivated wheat and barley, the staples of their diet, while flax was grown to be woven into fine linen. The river was a highway, a source of food, and the very essence of life. It was this mastery over their environment that allowed the early Egyptians to build settlements which grew into towns and eventually into the two kingdoms of Upper and Lower Egypt. Around 3100 BC, a legendary king named Narmer, or perhaps Menes, united these two lands. This event, immortalized on the Narmer palette, marks the dawn of the dynastic period. A new capital, Memphis, was established, and from here, a succession of pharaohs would rule as divine intermediaries between the gods and humanity. The pharaoh was not just a king, he was a living god, Horus on earth, whose duty was to maintain Mat, the cosmic order of truth, balance, and justice. This divine kingship was the bedrock of Egyptian society, the central pillar upon which their entire civilization was built. This era, known as the Old Kingdom, is often called the Age of the Pyramids. The pharaohs of the 3rd and 4th dynasties commanded immense resources and manpower to construct these monumental tombs, designed to last for eternity. It began with the Step Pyramid of Djoser at Saqqara, a revolutionary design by the brilliant architect Imhotep. This was the world's first large-scale stone structure, a stairway to the heavens for the deceased king. But it was at Giza that pyramid building reached its zenith. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, the last surviving wonder of the ancient world, is a masterpiece of engineering and logistics. For 20 years, tens of thousands of skilled workers quarried, transported, and precisely placed over 2 million massive stone blocks. Alongside Khufu's pyramids stand the pyramids of his successors, Khafre and Menkaure, guarded by the enigmatic Great Sphinx, a mythical creature with the body of a lion and the head of a king. These structures were not just tombs. They were resurrection machines, part of vast temple complexes where priests would perform daily rituals to ensure the pharaoh's successful journey into the afterlife. The afterlife was central to Egyptian belief. They envisioned it as a continuation of life on earth, but without sorrow or hardship. To reach this paradise, known as the Field of Reeds, the soul had to navigate a perilous journey through the underworld, facing monstrous demons and a final judgment. This is why mummification was so crucial. They believed the body, or Khat, had to be preserved so the spirit, or Ka and Ba, could recognize it and be reunited. The process was intricate. Internal organs, except for the heart believed to be the seat of intelligence and emotion, were removed and stored in canopic jars. The body was then dried out with natron salt for 40 days before being wrapped in hundreds of yards of linen bandages. Amulets for protection were tucked within the layers, and priests recited magical spells from texts like the Book of the Dead. This sacred text was a guide for the deceased, containing the spells and answers needed to pass the trials of the underworld. Here, the heart was weighed against the feather of Mat. A light heart meant a virtuous life and entry into paradise. A heavy heart meant it would be devoured by the demon Ammit, and the soul would cease to exist forever. As the Old Kingdom waned, power shifted from the central pharaoh to regional governors, plunging Egypt into a period of disunity known as the First Intermediate Period. But the spirit of Egypt was resilient. Around 2055 BC, Mentuhotep II reunited the country, ushering in the Middle Kingdom a golden age of stability, art, and literature. The capital moved to Thebes, and the focus shifted from massive pyramids to more subtle, yet equally impressive, public works, fortresses, and mining expeditions. It was an era of great stories and classical texts that would be copied by scribes for centuries to come. However, this prosperity was eventually challenged by the arrival of the Hyksos, a people from Western Asia who introduced new technologies like the horse-drawn chariot and the composite bow. Their rule over northern Egypt marked the Second Intermediate Period. Yet, from the south, Egyptian pharaohs in Thebes rose once more. Ahmose I finally drove out the Hyksos and founded the New Kingdom, the most glorious and well-documented period in Egyptian history. This was the age of empire and iconic pharaohs. Egypt, now a major military power, expanded its borders from Nubia in the south to the Euphrates River in the north. Warrior pharaohs like Thutmose III and Ramesses the Great led their chariot armies to victory, securing vast wealth, tribute, and influence. This newfound prosperity funded an unprecedented building boom, particularly in Thebes, which became the religious heart of the empire. On the east bank, dedicated to the living, rose the magnificent temples of Karnak and Luxor. For 2,000 years, successive pharaohs added their own pylons, halls, and obelisks to Karnak, creating the largest religious complex ever built, a home on earth for the state god Amun-Ra. Priests here wielded immense political and economic power, second only to the pharaoh himself. Across the Nile, on the west bank, lay the necropolis, the city of the dead. To protect their tombs from robbers, the New Kingdom pharaohs abandoned pyramids for hidden, rock-cut tombs in a desolate, sun-scorched valley, the Valley of the Kings. Here, rulers like Hatshepsut, the great female pharaoh who reigned as a king, and Tutankhamun, the boy king whose nearly intact tomb would astound the world, were laid to rest. Their tomb walls were covered in vibrant paintings and hieroglyphs, depicting their journey to the afterlife in stunning detail. The hieroglyphic script itself is a window into the Egyptian mind. It was a complex system of pictographs, phonetic symbols, and determinatives used for monumental inscriptions and sacred texts. For everyday use, scribes used a simpler, cursive script called hieratic and later demotic, writing on papyrus scrolls. Scribes were highly respected, and their meticulous records give us incredible insight into every aspect of Egyptian life, from temple rituals and tax collection to personal letters and poetry. But even the mighty New Kingdom could not last forever. A combination of internal struggles, economic problems, and a series of invasions by foreign powers like the Libyans, Nubians, and Assyrians led to its gradual decline. In 525 BC, the Persians conquered Egypt, and though native rule was briefly restored, the final blow came in 330 BC. A young conqueror from Macedonia, Alexander the Great, was welcomed as a liberator. His arrival marked the end of the last native Egyptian dynasty and the beginning of the Ptolemaic period. After Alexander's death, his general, Ptolemy, took control, founding a dynasty that would rule for 3 centuries. They adopted many Egyptian customs and traditions, presenting themselves as pharaohs, yet their culture was distinctly Greek. The city of Alexandria, with its legendary library and lighthouse, became the intellectual and cultural center of the Mediterranean world. The last of this line was the famous Cleopatra VII, whose death in 30 BC marked the end of pharaonic rule and the absorption of Egypt into the Roman Empire. The legacy of ancient Egypt is all around us. Their intricate beliefs and stunning art continue to fascinate and intrigue. They created a civilization that not only endured for 3 millennia, but also shaped the course of human history. Though their world has vanished, their story, written in stone and sand, remains a timeless echo from the dawn of civilization. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the land of the pharaohs. If you were captivated by the wonders of ancient Egypt, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell for more adventures into the past.